Hi, I'm Emily,
And I'm Mac.
and today we're reviewing Hamnet.
So, Hamnet is about the conception of the popular Shakespeare play Hamlet, and it is about how Shakespeare kind of came through that process to write it in the wake of his son's death. And it's about how him and his wife Agnes kind of cope through that. It's about their love story, and it's about a lot more. So, this film is directed by Chloé Zhao, who won an Oscar for Nomadland. Followed that up with an just as Oscar-worthy movie in The Eternals. And now she directed this, and as we're recording this today, she got her second Academy Award nomination, and I think it's deserved. I think this is a very good movie.
I do too. I loved it. It really worked on me. As I'm watching more of Chloé Zhao's stuff, I'm finding that she really works for me. Her style, her really earnest, way of presenting her stories. I just think that she does a really, really great job. I'm very happy about her Oscar nomination. What did you think of it? What did you think of performances that's going around in
So the
award
performances
season?
were great. I'll be honest. I walked into this wondering if it was going to be a little bit Oscar baity, because it was about William and Agnes Shakespeare, and I was curious if this would be a biopic in a way, but no, it was actually a lot about more. It was just a movie about grief and love and family connection, and I really appreciated that. As for the performances, Jessie Buckley would be my pick right now if I had to choose for Best Actress.
Yeah, she was phenomenal,
so great.
I
She was
think.
so heartbreaking in this movie. And Paul Mescal didn't even get in, which is crazy.
I know. I didn't think that. I think Jessie Buckley is definitely overshadowing him here.
Yeah.
And there's something to say about Paul Mescal kind of doing the same role over and over again. He's just sad all the time. But I think he does a really good job with this character of Will in Hamnet, because the whole crux of the movie is how Agnes and William, they deal with their grief very differently, and William, he can't process all these things that he feels, and so he has to construct these worlds inside of his mind and kind of process it that way, and that's how he comes to write Hamlet.
And all while pushing his family away too.
Yeah. And so he just it's not in him to kind of be super vulnerable and raw like Jessie Buckley is. And I think he does a very good job with that. And I think Jessie Buckley had a really tall order in playing Agnes, because a lot of her, she's such a spiritual character, and she's so connected with the natural world and all the spiritual parts of herself, and to really tap into that, in those scenes where she finds Hamnet dead, or when she's giving birth. And I just thought she was really, really moving. I thought she was phenomenal.
Agreed. And just to shout out two other performances, Emily Watson, who's been great over the last few years. She was in Chernobyl with Jessie Buckley, just a little fun fact. And Jacoby Jupe, who played Hamnet, he was so good. I think he's only 12 years old, but he was such a good actor.
He's a rock star. He was awesome. And I couldn't believe we were getting this from a kid so young. And I don't know if you know, but his older brother Noah Jupe plays Hamlet, the stage character.
Yeah, with Sadie Sink.
Yeah, and I think that he
was. Or sorry, that's a different play.
Hello, but I think that he just kind of totally steals the show in those last 5 minutes. I think he is awesome as Hamlet.
Agreed. When the scene where he's wishing the plague on himself rather than his sister is incredibly heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, Jacoby doing that.
Yeah.
And and that whole scene in the Globe, I just thought that was electric. The connection between Noah and Jessie Buckley in that moment, and when she reaches her hand out to him, it was so moving. Oh, I loved it.
I love that scene because Jessie Buckley goes through all the emotions during that. She has almost kind of the stages of grief while watching the play. She's angry that it's not even her son's name that's being used in this, and that her husband is seemingly exploiting her son's tragedy.
She doesn't want these feelings conjured back up. I got a little distance from the death now, and she's not thinking about it, and she kind of needs to step into William's world a little bit, and both help each other process what this terrible thing that's happened to them.
Yeah, and I think that goes to show neither of these people are perfect, especially William himself. He has to, try to go and pursue his dream while also trying to provide for their family, and he's not even there when Hamnet dies because of that. But again, like in his own mind, like he loves his family, but this is how he has to express himself, like you said. And I
Yeah.
think that it just comes out in the most beautifully tragic way. This film itself, like aesthetically, is beautiful, I think.
Oh, I think it's gorgeous. I'm so glad it got nominated for some technical categories.
Yeah.
Like the costumes, I think they're very understated, but they're gorgeous. Production design, like it, a lot of the times in like medieval type, like Elizabethan movies, it's
Yeah.
just like, I think it's so like kind of tacky, like
Yeah.
production. But I thought this one was like the first time I've actually been like, oh, like people could actually live there. Like I don't think like people can't live in the sets on like Shakespeare in Love, but like
Yeah.
I think people could like live where, you know.
I think
they
a nice
live.
touch too was when Agnes was watching the play and she doesn't understand the old English that William Shakespeare is seemingly using. That just felt like so me, and that like when I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
reading Shakespeare plays in middle school, so I appreciate that they put that in there.
And it's like I really appreciated how the crowd was so responsive to Hamlet the play, because like we know the story and we're reading it in middle school English class and we're like, oh my god. But like back then it was like revolutionary, and
Yeah.
it's so tragic, and it's the first time they're ever seeing it, and so I really appreciated all this like reality and groundedness that
Right.
Chloé Zhao was able to bring to this story.
I agree, and it almost seems like, you know, this sort of love and grief story could be told anywhere else, but to apply it to maybe the most famous writer of all time was just very interesting. I know this is based off of a book, but I just love how Chloé Zhao took this and made an all more human story about this. But we've gone on and on about this. I think that this is a really great movie, but what would you give it for your rating?
Out of 10, I am giving it a 9 out of 10. I would not be upset if it won any of the categories that it's up for in the Oscars. What do you think of it?
I thought it was really great. I'm going to give it an 8. I thought maybe it went on a little long, but I mean, again, this movie was very well made. Congrats to Chloé Zhao for the Eternals redemption, and we'll see you next time on Review Crew. Thank you guys for watching.
Great job, guys.
Yay, awesome.
Let's go.
Oh, she's good for 7. Because you were having such a wonderful conversation about this.